Ang susunod na programa ay rated G. Ito ay pwede sa lahat ng manonood.
Pangalan, edad, taga saan?
Mike Angelica po, 21 years old, taga Iligan City.
Sayang, huwag mo ko ipapahiya.
Opo.
Hey, good luck!
Good morning everyone. Today we're going to discuss about matter and temperature. But first, let us define what matter is. Matter is a term used to describe anything that has mass and takes up a space. So, Greek philosophers like Democritus and Deucippus proposed that matter is made up of tiny particles called atoms. A single atom is the smallest particle that retains the chemical identity of an element. A molecule is a group of two or more atoms joined together chemically. An element is a pure substance that cannot be broken down into other substance by chemical or physical change. For example, hydrogen, helium, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. All of the other matter you are very likely to experience is made from one or more elements in nature. For example, water can be broken down into elements, hydrogen and oxygen, when energy is added. Compounds. Let's discuss about compounds. Compounds are two or more substances from different elements chemically bounded, and compounds contain more than one type of atom joined together. For example, the water. The formula would be H2O or hydrogen 2 plus oxygen. Another example is hydrogen peroxide, which formula of H2O2 or hydrogen 2 plus oxygen 2. Mixture. A mixture refers to the physical combination of two or more substances on which the identities are retained and are mixed in the form of solutions, suspensions, and colloids. Mixtures can be separated by different means. It could be a physical means, which by sorting, filtering, heating, and cooling. There are two types of mixture. One is homogeneous mixture and the other is heterogeneous mixture. Let's discuss about homogeneous mixture. A homogeneous mixture is a mixture that is the same throughout. For example, the blood plasma and air that we breathe. And heterogeneous mixture is a mixture that is not the same throughout. So different samples are not necessarily made up of the same proportions. You can use a mechanical method to separate components of a heterogeneous mixture. For example, sorting candies in a bowl. And I just want to enumerate the phases of mixture. One is solid, the other is liquid, and the other is gas. And at this point of time, let's tackle about temperature. Temperature is a quantity that measures the kinetic energy per molecule due to the random motion. Or in a qualitative manner, we can describe temperature as the hotness or coldness of a matter. What temperature really is, atoms are constant motion, even in solid object. The back and forth jigging of atoms is caused by thermal energy, which is kind of a kinetic energy. Thermal energy is the energy due to a temperature. Also, we have thermometer. A thermometer is an instrument that measures the temperature of a matter in a quantitative way. There are two common temperature scales. One is Fahrenheit and the other is degrees Celsius. So we use this different formula. Kelvin. Kelvin is equal to degrees Celsius plus 273. And the formula for Fahrenheit is 1.8 times degrees Celsius plus 32. The formula for converting Fahrenheit to Celsius is this. Degrees Celsius is equal to 5 over 9 times Fahrenheit minus 32. And by finding the Kelvin to Celsius formula, you just simply minus the Kelvin degrees minus 273. However, temperature affects the state of matter by the following. One is sublimation, where there is a process of transformation of solid to gas. For example, the dry ice or the solid carbon dioxide sublimes. The snow and ice can sublime in a winter months without melting. Mothballs sublime. And the other one is what we call deposition, or the process of transformation of gas to solid. And we can observe that in a carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. And also the very common, we have evaporation, or the transformation of liquid state into a gas state. Last but not the least, we have condensation, or the transformation of gas to liquid.
Orville.
Ang bongga ng
Hi! Pangalan mo?
Ako po si Norlaina Pigam po.
Ilang taong ka na?
I'm 18 years old. So this time, we're going to look at the different types of heat energy transfers. But first, let me define what is heat. Most of us use the word heat to mean something that feels warm. But science defines heat as the flow of energy from a warm object to a cooler object. Heat is measured in units of energy, usually calories or joules. So there are three ways that heat can travel. So we will first start with conduction. So conduction is a transfer of heat by touching. It occurs in solids. So it is a transfer of heat from the warmer part of an object to the cooler part of the same object. So let's take a look at this picture that represents conduction. So on the picture, the middle spoon was leaning against the pot. So that spoon will become hot because the heat will be transferred from the hot pot to the cool spoon. So second, heat transfers through convection. So unlike conduction, convection occurs in liquids and gases. So it is the transfer of heat through the movement of particles or warm particles. When warm particles rise, cool particles fill in space below. So this is a circular motion. An example of convection is the boiling of water. So the heat passes from the burner into the pot, heating the water at the bottom. Then this hot water rises and cooler water moves down to replace it, causing a circular motion. So the third energy transfers is through radiation. Radiation is the transfer of energy as waves, and it travels through matter or empty space. So radiation, what we usually think about is the sun. So the earth is warm because the rays from the sun are traveling through matter and causing the heat to the earth. So finally, let's take a look at this picture. So this picture represents all the three forms of heat energy transfers. So as you can see, in conduction, heat transfers occurs in solid, while in convection, it occurs in liquids and gases. And lastly, radiation, which occurs through waves. That is all. Thank you.
Hindi po.
Pangalan mo iyo.
Jahara po, Jahara Malna.
Ilang taong ka na?
20 years old po, last year 19, then next year 21.
Aral? Nag-aaral?
Para po maipakita sa inyo ang properties of matter at para flat one sa Natsci.
Lahat, pati ang puso ko nasa iyo na ang lahat. Minamahal kitang tapat. Nasa iyo na ang
Anyway, gusto ko pong ituloy ang aking talento kahit naka-golden buzzer po ako.
Aray. Anong pinag-aaralan mo?
BSBA Business Economics po.
Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Eskwelahan yan.
From MSUIT po.
No ako. Sharon. O sige na, pinapatawa lang kita. Husayan mo kung ano man ang gagawin mo. Good luck.
So we are all surrounded by matter on a daily basis. So anything that we use, touch, eat, and etc. is an example of matter. So matter can be described or defined as any that takes up space and it is composed of minuscule called atoms. So it must display the two properties of mass and volume. So these properties are generally grouped into two categories, physical or chemical. Physical properties can be observed or measured without changing the composition of matter. So physical properties of materials and systems are often described as intensive and extensive properties. So intensive properties, a physical property that will be the same regardless of the amount of matter. Properties includes density, color, conductivity, malleability, and luster. So second, extensive properties, a physical property that will change if the amount of matter changes. So it includes mass, volume, and length. Second, let's talk about the physical change. Physical change takes place without any changes in molecular composition. The same element of or compound is present before and after the change. So the three main states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. In a solid, atoms are tightly packed together in a fixed arrangement. In liquid, atoms are close together but not in a fixed arrangement. Lastly, in gas, has no fixed shape and volume. So, as you can see, ang gibuhat ni Jinan sa papel, gikumot-kumot niya, pati feelings, charot. Gikumot niya ang papel, pero wala na change, papel gihapon siya. So, let's talk about the chemical properties of matter. So, it means its potential to undergo some chemical change or reaction by virtue of its composition. So, for example, zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid to produce hydrogen gas. So this is a chemical property. Chemical change, it results in one or more substances of entirely different composition from the original substances. Excuse me, ito ka gamitin para sa aming project? Oh, sure. So for example, in chemical change, gisunog ni Jinan ang papel. So as you can see, na-change ang composition sa papel.